So go ahead and pull those out. But you can put your calculators up. There's no need to have it out because you'll just knock them off your desks. So put those away. Yes. Well, your notes. I don't think you'll need your periodic table. You need the blue sheet I gave you yesterday. The card.
Okay. Do we need the reference tables?
I don't think you'll need the reference tables. All right, everybody got their calculators put up so no one's knocking off the desk? All right, so yesterday we talked about nomenclature. We're going to learn to use ionic and covalent compounds, and we're going to learn stock in the old system. Now, for the next roughly 2.5 days, we are only going to talk about ionic compounds, okay? So, today and tomorrow specifically, we are only talking ionic compounds. So, if we are only talking ionic compounds, what are we talking about? Okay, so today and tomorrow, I know we will not get past a metal and a non-metal. Given we have an assembly on Monday, it's the academic awards assembly. It is conceivable that it will be Tuesday before we get to covalent, because I think they're chopping first and second period apart and doing something with time.
Second period is shorter?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my God, yes.
It's my favorite period of the day. I love second period. First is fine too, but second period is my favorite. All right, sort of like gym. Now, or lunch when I was in school. Now, we're going to start with binary compounds because they're the easiest to do, okay? Now, binary compounds are the absolute easiest, and just like I've said many times, those of you who had a good 8th grade experience, like Tyshawn had, you probably did this, okay? You probably did this in 8th grade. Binary compounds mean what? What does binary mean in math class?
Just two elements.
Just two elements, okay. So, binary compounds are simply two elements. And since we are talking about only two elements, we know that it will simply be, yes, but it will be one metal and one non-metal. Towards the end of class, we're going to bring in these polyatomic ions. When we bring those in, we're going to get to 3 and 4 elements. Then we're going to have combinations of metals and non-metals. But we're going to start slow. We're going to start with binary compounds, where we're going to have one metal and one non-metal. So, like I said, those of you who had a good experience in middle school, you probably did these. Those of you who had a crappy experience, this will be brand new. Okay? So we're going to start slow. Now, we're going to start with formulas, because formulas are the easiest for everybody to do. Okay? Everybody with me on what you got on the board? Can I turn the board?
No.
No, it's you. It could be AMU, you.
I got a topic. I did not. Are y'all okay?
No, he just figured something out.
What hit on? I put the wrong unit for number 5.
It's either AMU or you.
I put AMU.
That's fine. What'd he put?
I put atomic average or math. One of them.
It's a -1. All right, so we're going to start with writing formulas.
Right now you're just.
Now, the nice part about these steps that we're going to write down, so we only have to write them one time because the steps are the same for down here and for next week, so we don't have to write them twice. Number one, look up the symbols. Some of you are like, she really wrote that down? Yes, because if you give me the wrong symbol, it's wrong. There is no partial credit. Some of you will look up sodium and write NA beautifully.
No.
Some of y'all will go, I know sodium. I ain't looking that crap up. It's S. It's SO. And it's wrong every day of the week. Minus 10 on the quiz question. I'm not giving you partial credit. Your 3 periodic tables are hanging in the roof. I've given you one. The state's giving you one. On the exam, look it up if you don't know it. Potassium symbol is K. Some of you will write P. P is phosphorus. If you write the wrong symbol, it is wrong. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I don't give you partial credit for the wrong symbol, even if every other number in the formula is correct. Okay? Number 2. Look up the oxidation numbers. This is why yesterday I gave you that lovely blue chart. This is the part where most teachers make students either memorize or they have taught all this for 9 weeks before they teach naming. I do it completely backwards from everybody else. Okay? Number 3, sorry. Crisscross. Oh, no, let me not put that there yet. Let me tell you something first. When you look at the oxidation numbers, the positive oxidation number must be first. The negative oxidation number must be last. Let me just put that out there because some of y'all.
looks upset.
Okay? The positive oxidation number has to be first, and the negative oxidation number has to be last. You would need to know that.
You know what?
What?
I can't find my pink pen.
I am sincerely sorry. You don't have to change colors. I'm just doing it so that I can point to stuff.
Here it is. There she does have to change colors.
Number 3.
Thank you.
Now we're going to put crisscross oxidation numbers only. Not the sign. Okay, the positive and negative is only used to make sure the numbers are in the right spots. We only crisscross the numbers. And the last step, we will not have to do that often, but we will have to periodically. It's a little bit like math class. Reduce when necessary. Okay, sort of like when you have a fraction like 2/4. Would you leave it at 2/4 math class?
Well, what if I reduce wrong? I just leave it the way it is. That way it's right.
Okay, you can leave it the way it is in here, and I'll take off half.
Oh, Lord.
Okay? We do put them in lowest terms. Okay, and these are the same steps that we will use for every formula we will write. So we won't be writing these steps down again. There is only one addition that we will make when we do polyatomic formulas. We'll add in some parentheses. Everything else are the exact same steps.
Why'd you use different colors?
Just to emphasize the steps.
Oh.
Because I'm going to come back and point to them.
Not me. They have to be like, if they're all 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the same line, then they all should be the same color. Like when you move to the right one, and you do them. I don't know. It's because like, look, this one's pink.
He's telling you to look. Look what I'm doing.
You do it your way, I do it my way.
Yes.
They're your notes. Do them any way you want. My notes, I do them my way.
Why?
I get to make those choices.
Just
All right, is everybody caught up? Well, I know you're not. You're in the bathroom.
Says the person that's with the white out.
All right, we're there now.
Beautiful to hear.
So,
You can get yours from somebody.
Oh, yeah, you can
and then
take
you
this.
call Blue Bull Space.
yeah.
All right. So let's say that we want to write a formula for aluminum chloride.
I know that's simple.
Very fabulous.
Thank you.
Now, a lot of you will know these symbols. Some of you will not. All right. If you don't know them, look them up. If you're unsure, look them up. Like I told you, you write them down wrong, question's wrong. No partial credit. Now, first of all, if it's a single element, the letter is written as a capital letter, like capital A. If it is two letters, the first letter is written as a capital, the second letter is written as a lowercase. If you write it as capital A, capital L, that is also wrong, okay? You cannot do that. It has to be a capital and a lowercase. That is the convention that we use for the elements on the periodic table. So if you always write in capital letters, you better figure out how to write a capital and a lowercase. Does anybody have that problem? Okay. Every now and then I have somebody who does. You got to fix that.
The only time I had that problem was when, because of Jeffrey, he always wrote in all caps.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I started writing in all caps too, and then it took me forever to stop.
They
Oh.
can write a really big capital letter, and then the other ones would just be smaller capital letters.
I have had students who do that. Quit that crap. This is not right in chemistry class. All right. So aluminum has what symbol?
AL.
All right. So A, capital A, lowercase l. Chloride. Now, you will notice that chloride has an IDE on the end. We're going to talk about where the endings come from when we do naming right here. Those of you who did this in 8th grade may already know that information. Again, if you had a good experience. Now, chloride is the same as chlorine. So, what is chlorine's symbol?
CL.
Cl. So, capital C, lowercase l. Any issues with step 1 and finding the symbols? No. Now, the nice thing about the blue sheet is they're in alphabetical order. The symbols are there, so it makes it a little easier than finding them on the periodic table. Now, step 2, we need the oxidation numbers. So, beside each of those elements are the oxidation numbers. So, what is aluminum's oxidation number?
+3.
All right, so, +3. What's chlorine's oxidation number?
-1 + 1 + 3 + 5 + 7.
Okay, that's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna work for us.
We add them, subtract.
Oh. I really thought you got it right.
Yeah.
No,
I know what
Does
you're
the I
don't know.
play a part in whichever we choose?
No.
We
It's
choose
the one
the
you
first
want.
one.
We choose the
You
middle
sound
one.
like Shatoria now. No.
We choose the middle one. 'Cause that
No.
always works.
Pick the one you like.
Well, I
We
don't
do
know.
not pick the one we like.
I don't
Pick
know.
the biggest one?
We use the smallest.
Oh, the eye.
What?
Oh, you just said that before.
All right.
We don't.
I put something up here in blue that's important.
Oxidation must be first.
The positive number is first.
Oh.
The what number is last?
Negative.
Is there a negative number in there?
Yeah.
What's the negative number?
-1.
So you have to pick what number?
-1.
The -1. Because chlorine is written where? Last. You don't just pick -1 because it's written first in the list, which is what you guys told me. You pick the -1 because chlorine is written where in the name? It's written last in the formula. So it must be,
You guys ever put whiteout on top of whiteout? I
yes.
make that many mistakes.
So it must be a negative oxidation number. So that's why we're going to pick the -1. Wait, hold on.
What if it was positive? Because you know when we have all the positive values, just what
Yes.
we do.
The positive element will not be last.
Bless you.
The negative element will always be last. Now, the positive element being first, if it has multiple positives, hold that thought. We're going to answer that one very soon. Okay? Questions? Now, step 3. We're going to crisscross the oxidation number only, not the sign. The signs are only to tell you who's first and who's last. So the only number we're crisscrossing is going to be the 3 and the 1. So I'm going to take this 3 and I'm going to bring it down here. And I'm going to take this 1 and I'm going to bring it down here. I'm not crisscrossing the pluses and the minuses. Okay? For all practical purposes, I can erase those. I'm only moving the 3 and the 1. So when I rewrite this, just like in math class, do y'all write X to the first or just X?
X.
Just like that in chemistry class. We don't write AL to the first, we just write AL. CL has what subscript?
3.
Then we write 3.
Oh, okay. Now I see what we're doing now.
Okay? You with me?
Yes.
Anybody not?
But I knew that beforehand, though.
I told you, if you had a good experience, you should know some of this
That was
stuff.
a good experience, though.
So would it always be a negative?
He just said
Or-
he's smart.
Will chlorine always be a negative? No, it could be at the beginning.
Why does when I read it, it doesn't.
And it could be a positive, yes.
Okay.
What?
If it was at the beginning, which one would you choose?
That's what Queen asked. I told you hold that thought. We're going to get there in a second. Does everybody have what they want?
No.
No?
Like,
Well, I can't wait on you for all the whiteout to dry.
no, I don't need it. It's just, you write ALCL and it looks fine. Then I write it.
It was horrible.
I can't picture better handwriting either. All right.
It's not my handwriting that's bad.
So let's say that we have potassium
You wound me.
sulfide. All right. Potassium has what symbol?
B. Okay.
K.
Oh, you right.
And that's what's written on.
Sulfide has what symbol?
S.
It's S. Both of these are single letters, so they're both going to be capitalized.
That's so weird.
All right. K or potassium has what oxidation number?
1.
All right, so +1. And sulfide has what oxidation number? What? -2. Does everybody agree with what they came up with? Find those elements and see if you're okay with what they yelled out. Sulfide may be on the back. Sulfide is sulfur. Yes.
So IDE is
Take the
the
best.
suffix that ends at.
And we're going to talk about where those endings come from in just a second.
Check before we go.
So then you crisscross.
We get 3 the whole thing,
We're
right?
going for
Yep.
2 minutes.
And you can always have more, you just have to start lunch attention. All right, so what do I do with that 1 and that 2? So the 1 is coming over here, and the 2 is going over there. So you end up with
K2.
K2
S.
and S. Everybody okay with that?
So what if I get the one?
I would not mark it wrong. You will never see me write the 1, but if you're somebody right now who needs to write the 1 just to feel better about what you're doing and you want to write the 1 for a couple days, it's fine. Okay, I won't take off if you write the 1, but I'm not going to write it.
So all you do is put the ones with those.
Yeah,
All right, so let's talk about one that answers Ethan's and Queen's question. All right,
Is that really?
manganese.
Like magnesium.
Like,
First of all, look up element 12. All right, well, no, I didn't give you that. Look up magnesium and manganese. They're
Oh, that's two different ones.
There's 2 elements. One is Mg and one is Mn. Okay? One is element 12 on the periodic table. One is element 25. They are not the same element, and they are often mixed up in naming and on the test. Magnesium is Mg. Manganese is Mn. I gave you manganese. All right, now, if we look up manganese, what is its symbol? Mn. All right, oxide is what? Anybody know? That is oxygen, okay? That's oxygen with the ending on it. We're going to talk about it in a minute. Now, if you're struggling with these IDE endings, Turn your blue card over. Look at the very bottom. That was quick. Look at the very bottom. You see where it says common spellings of binary ions?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You see the ions off to the side and their symbols? Does that help any of you? Where it says oxide ion and it says O -2. There's your ion and there's your oxidation number. If you're struggling at the moment with what those are. But that's also how you spell them. All right, so oxide is O, and its oxidation number is what?
Negative.
-2. All right, look at manganese. Tell me what its oxidation number is.
We got +2, +3, +4, +5, +6, +7.
All right, so there's a whole bunch of oxidation numbers written there, right? Now, they're all positive oxidation numbers. Where's manganese in the name?
The beginning.
At the beginning, so you know it has to be a positive oxidation number, right?
Right.
Now, because it's at the front, it has to be positive. All those numbers are on the sheet that are positive. I have to tell you in the name what oxidation number to use.
The
So this right here is the oxidation number that I'm telling you to use. Okay? So this is the first element's oxidation number. Right there. That is the first element's oxidation number. So manganese is +7.
That's them singing.
I thought that was Dr. Phillips making noise.
Oh.
At least I'm hoping that's them and not chorus. Okay, that might be chorus. All right. So 7 comes down, 2 comes down. So what do you wind up with? Yes, Mn2O7. Now, the only thing I want to do before I give you a chance to do a couple of them is to talk about the 7 Roman numerals that everybody ought to know. A lot of you do. But rather than talk about who does and who doesn't, Queen,
How far are we going?
we're only going to 7. That's why I said I'm only going to write the first 7 because that's really all you have to. Well, I'll do 1 through 10 because you might. No, we only need 10 in the prefixes. I'm only going to write 1 through 7. All right. So if you're someone who might not know the Roman numerals,
Right, it's in the margin.
you are required to be able to count to 7 with Roman numerals.
What about the V?
Did I forget it?
Yeah,
Oh,
V.
sorry. I thought I had it, but I must not have. Sorry. I thought it was there. No. I thought it came up, but it didn't. There it is. All right, so if you, and which one do you think students mess up on all the time?
4.
4. All right, so if you label this or this and you do them backwards, again, there's no partial credit. So make sure you draw it the way you mean for it to be drawn on the test, because I will mark it wrong. All right. The paper that I'm giving you, we'll be using tomorrow too. They're in 4 sections, so don't work ahead. We're doing 1 through 8 on the front side. All right, write as many of those as you can before I stop you. 1 through 8. Write as many formulas as you can before I stop you.
I got this.
Good. 1 through 8. As many as you can before I stop you. I'm not going to give you very long. You may not finish.
We have to start words.
No, you just got to write the names. There's no partial credit on this.
Oh, we just rushing. Wait.
He's out. Am I supposed to send work? I'm guessing that it's one of mine, but. I mean, really? No, I thought I'd ask her today. Okay, it's only what, 4 questions? What answers? I know. I didn't know if it was worth it or not. I just don't know if I can do it. I know. I know. I've often wondered if it's like this. So what now? Yeah, we went up backstage and it was a crisscross.
Can we just put one?
Can you what?
Just put one.
Just put one what?
Oh, I just got the bottom.
Write the final answer and I'll tell you if it's right. Instead of showing me the word. Yes, that's fine. What? Yes. Mm-hmm. You just didn't like number 1?
What?
No, that's number 2 and number 3.
Oh,
I'm just asking. You just said it.
this is right confusing.
I mean, it's fine. Hmm? What? Yeah, so we're going to use which is light. What do you do with those numbers?
Oh, I forgot one.
All right, about 2 more minutes. Go, what you got? Badly in the shower.
I never said people saying that. Like, people actually do that? Why?
Right. Well, see why? Because water absorbs sound waves and people really think it sounds one way, but it's bouncing through the water.
It sounds a lot better and it drowns out the sound.
And the acoustics are kind of like wild.
No, but why? Why sing?
Because you can sing.
You sound better.
You say, man, I can sing this, and you sound
Or in the
like
car where
you
there's
sound like
nobody
a
else
Billy Goat
with
in
you.
a hailstorm.
I'm scared. I feel like somebody's listening all
Well,
the
you
time.
have a really nice projective.
Yeah, but I've never in my life had a music class. I can't read a note, play anything.
Me either.
I can't read it.
Well, you have really good projection.
That's good. Rector says she can teach anybody to sing. I find that hard to believe.
Lies.
I've often said I need to bring my kids just to see if she's really that good.
She's alright.
She's alright.
It's not that option.
Because if she can teach them to sing, I believe her.
Well, anyone can sing. It's just a matter
not
of
well.
how you want to sing.
I agree with Daniela, not well.
Not well.
Well, no, it depends on how you want to sing. Like, do you want to go super classical and technical, or do you want it to just be more of a, I'm just singing to sing, or is it?
No, they just won't sing the same. I just like them not to make my ears bleed in the car.
Just turn off the music.
You said you just want to listen to the chords.
I'll turn on the
Oh,
music.
it's still by the guard, yeah.
You know, I'm still
My
crushing.
sister
My
likes
son
to
gave
sing
up the
in the
trumpet.
car,
Played the
so I
tuba.
just turn the Spanish music on and she'll stop singing.
Who you said?
I like
Yeah. She'll sing like,
So it just sounds.
and she's going to that phase where they listen to talk on the radio.
Yeah.
And so
The trumpet at least had a melody. There was something you could hear. Yeah, like.
The base has no,
She shut down real
Whoa.
the
And then there's
base,
nothing, and then
the
they,
base holds it up.
whoa, and then there's nothing again. It's awful to hear practicing at home. I make you practice outside. He doesn't even get to practice in my house.
Doesn't even get practice in the house.
No, he practices outside in the driveway or I'm back on the deck.
My parents won't let me practice singing in the house.
I don't like him. It's deafening. He can't practice in the house. He drags that tuba around and I make him stay outside. You had a chance to keep a small instrument in the tuba and get to stay in the house. And you went with that god awful tuba. The trumpet I could work with, not the tuba. All right, so number one. If you haven't finished, it's fine. But let's talk about what you got. You should have NAF. Number 2, MGCL2. Number 3, AL2S3. Number 4, NIF2. Number 5, CR3N2. See how that two's in the air, we'll get down.
Is it M or M?
CR3N2.
Oh, okay.
Can we take a break? You got
Wait, wait,
So
wait.
nitrate is nitrate.
Huh?
Nitrate.
That was nitrite.
I tried.
Yeah, nitrate would be NO3.
Okay.
Okay, we're gonna talk about nitrate. That'll be a polyatomic ion. All right, 6Cu2O. Number, I'm trying to tone down.
Wait,
Cu2O. What's up wider? Apparently I'm killing Daniela.
It's in production. It's ear only though. Like I can't hear.
7, ZNI2. And 8 is CABR2.
Oh, because
Yeah, you need a BR. So
I had it
that would
over
be
here.
marked wrong
I
because you
don't
left off
care,
the
but
R.
like.
Because you have boron. So what? 7 is CU. Oh, I jumped one. ZNI2.
Oh,
Well,
my.
eight. What do you do with that?
What was
My ears are number
8 was CABR2. If you didn't do it, it's okay.
It was right.
Now, if you didn't get them all done, don't worry about writing down the answers. Just check the ones you did. Okay? Don't worry about writing down answers you didn't do. Check the ones you did. Yes. That's fine. Writing names.
I think it's like, she didn't say water bottle yet.
All right, we're going to write names now. Now, with writing names, we're going to work backwards. These are not that difficult. There's only 3 steps. Number 1, you're going to name the first element.
Look, we're using the same color.
Okay? Now, remember, maybe I should clarify this. We are talking about binary compounds, right? So binary means what?
2.
2. Okay? So we're naming the first element. Number 2. We're going to add an IDE ending to the second element, which is why I have the spellings on the back side of the blue card. Because a lot of you are going to be like, I don't know how to add that ending, Miss Wall. I'm going to mess up the spelling. If you look at the back side of the blue card in that bottom table, it has common spellings for those binary ions so that you know how to add the IDE ending correctly. And the third step, this is the one that causes the problems. This will be the one that causes more nightmares for everybody else than anything else. You have to check the first element's oxidation number. If more than one listed on the reference, or let me say this, if more than one listed on the oxidation sheet. So you don't think, I don't want you to think I'm talking about the stapled paper. If more than one listed on the oxidation sheet, you
It's
must
not funny.
Yes, it is.
use a Roman numeral.
So we can put anyone.
No, we're gonna talk about which Roman numeral you have to put there. But I don't want to keep writing and you think the rule goes on and on forever.
Gotcha.
Do you list the one that's
In the formula. Yes, that came from the
second
crisscross.
thing?
Yes.
So you're just reversing it?
Yes, the only catch comes in is if it's been reduced. All right, has everybody had a chance to get the rule? All right, so let's say that we have CuCl and CuCl2. Now, if we go to write the names, just using the first two steps, everybody would write Cu as what?
Copper.
Copper.
Is this an example?
Yep.
Chloride?
All right, Cl is chlorine. And according to step 2, because this is binary means what again? 2. We can look here and we can see that each of these have 2 elements, right? And because they have 2 elements, we have to add IDE. That's why we're going to add IDE, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about polyatomic ions and mixing them up, and you're going to be like, when do we add IDE again, Miss Wall? When you have how many elements in the name?
2.
2. So we're going to make it chloride because it has 2 capital letters. So for those of you who are thinking, I can't tell if it has 2 elements. I've got a capital C and a capital C. That tells me I have 2 capitals. That's 2 elements. So, but if I only do steps 1 and step 2, I have the exact same names, don't I? Now, do I have the exact same formulas?
No.
No. So there has to be something in the name that differentiates between copper chloride and copper chloride. So that's where step 3 comes in with the Roman numerals. Now, look up copper on your oxidation sheet. All right, copper on your sheet says plus 1 and plus 2. This is more than 1 oxidation number. Can we agree when you look at that on the sheet that there's more than 1 number listed on the sheet?
Yes.
Okay, that's what tells you that you need Roman numerals right here. So when you look it up, there's at least 2 numbers listed on the sheet. If there had only been a plus 1, that would be how many numbers listed on the sheet? 1. If it had just said plus 2, that would be how many numbers listed on the sheet? Plus 2 is how many numbers? That's 1 number. That would mean it's always what number? All right, stop. Y'all are lost.
I'm confused.
Look at your sheet. Find your blue sheet.
I don't know what you're.
The first thing on the sheet is aluminum. What number is listed beside aluminum?
3.
And then
What number is aluminum always going to be when you look it up?
3.
A 3. Is it ever going to be different?
No.
No. So do I have to use Roman numerals when I have aluminum? No, because every time aluminum's in a formula, it's always going to be what?
3.
3. So when you look up aluminum, how many numbers are beside aluminum?
1.
1. The number is a 3, but there's how many numbers listed there?
1.
1 number.
Gotcha.
All right. Look at antimony. How many numbers are listed beside antimony? 3. That has more than 1 number listed there. It's going to require parentheses for Roman numeral. What's next? Arsenic. How many numbers are listed there?
3.
It's going to need parentheses. Barium. How many numbers are listed there? 1. The number is a plus 2, but it's how many numbers? 1. You see the difference? Hallelujah. All right.
I don't see where y'all are so confused now.
All right.
I was
Now,
up for like 2
the
seconds.
question is, what number goes in the parentheses? All right. Hold on. The numbers come from the crisscrossing. what number is here? What came from the copper? Plus 1 came from the copper. So this formula has a 1. And every time I do this, people go, I got to write the 1 is not understood. This is an example of where the 1 is not understood. You have to tell me the Roman numeral is a 1 here, so I know, oh, the oxidation number was a 1 here. This one has to be written. Copper 1 chloride. Otherwise, I won't know the oxidation number is a 1. So here, what number came from the copper?
2.
A 2. So here, the Roman number is a 2. Now, can you just put in a Roman numeral all the time to be covered?
No.
No. If you just slap one in, it can be wrong. You with me?
Gotcha.
All right, so let's say that we have, oh, I don't know, let's use strontium. Oops, I'm writing names. So let's do SR, and I need to stick with something that's binary. Let's do that. And we want to write its name. All right, so what's SR's name? Strontium, right? It's on the back side if you can't find it. Did we find it?
Yeah.
So STRONTIUM. It's a metal. It makes the red color in flares and fireworks. All right, BR. Bromine. All right, how many elements do I have? So I do what to the bromine? IDE. So I'm going to make it bromide. And if I can't spell it, I'm going to look where?
On
On the back of the sheet. And when I look on the back of the sheet, it's got the spelling for me at the very bottom. Everybody see where the spellings are? Fabulous. Now, all I need to do is figure out, do I need a Roman numeral? So, who do I check?
You check.
Bro.
I look up strontium.
Yes,
So how many numbers are besides strontium?
One.
1. So do I put a Roman number?
No.
No. I'm done. It's strontium bromide. Questions?
No.
No?
But bromine has a -1.
Doesn't matter. You never worry about the second element. You only worry about the first element for the Roman numerals. We are not never, since Queen brought this up, it's a good time to stress this. We are never, ever putting a Roman numeral at the end. Everybody hear me say that?
Yeah, you're never.
Okay, never ever. So when I grade the test, everybody listening to me?
Yes, ma'am.
I better never sneak.
Never.
Okay?
That's a good
I
one.
think red is put like a big
Exactly.
red.
I better never see that kind of stuff with Roman numerals at the end. Sometimes I get stuff like strontium, and then I get sulfur, and I get like 2, and then I get oxide, and I get Roman numeral 5. I get all kinds of weird stuff. I'm like, where have you people been for a week? Okay? If you don't know what's going on, stop making up stupid stuff.
Oh.
I don't even know how I did that.
Oh, that is cool.
I don't even know what
I missed it.
happened.
I put my head down.
All right.
God, dang.
All right, we're going to do one more thing. Because y'all are super smart. All right, we're going to write formulas with polyatomic ions. And then you're going to practice writing the names and these formulas for homework. Now,
Ain't that lovely?
formulas are super, super easy for polyatomic ions. Because you've already got the steps. Okay? Stop yawning over there. Before I have to lay down on the countertop and take a nap during my planning period. All right, let's say we're going to write the name for iron 3 sulfate. Now, first of all, how do you know that this has a polyatomic ion? There you go. When you look right here, this is not IDE, so that's what tells you it's a polyatomic ion.
8.
It's got an 8 or an 8. Now, thing you've already done. You look up the symbols. So what's the symbol for iron?
Fe.
There we go.
D.
All right. What's the oxidation number for iron?
Oh. 3.
Two or three.
I love this. I just love
Oh,
this.
3.
Y'all are all looking at this stupid card. Tashawn's the only one who yelled out 3 immediately. You see this 3 right here?
Oh.
I don't know. I never opened the paper.
It's the
Stuff in
first-
myself.
I mean, she falls.
All right. Do not follow Ethan anywhere because he's following the crowd. Okay? Y'all need to cut him loose from the crowd because he's useless. He's going with everybody. Okay? He has no ability to think for himself. Yes. About what or it? Okay? You stop following the crowd. All right? Think for yourself over there. All right. So,
I still felt like I had to follow the group.
no, stop following everybody. Think for yourself.
She paused and I said it. Hold on.
Your
I'll
own
look back.
person. I am shook it.
So iron has a +3. If you've got the Roman numeral, you don't need to look at the card. I'm telling you in the question. The oxidation number for iron is what? It's 3. I'm giving it to you. All right. Find your column that has the polyatomic ions. So those are those. I'm going to borrow Danielle's. Remember, I told you, there's 2 columns right here. Okay? 2 columns right here. Everybody looking?
Yeah.
Okay. So find sulfate.
Oh, mayonnaise.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah, mayonnaise.
Sulfate is what?
S-O.
SO4, good. What's its oxidation number? See that thing at the top?
-2.
-2. All right, here's your only new step. New step. Only thing. Parentheses around the SO4. What did I leave outside the parentheses? That's because you got to do what with it?
Crisscross.
That's why it's on the outside. Now, everything that's inside the parentheses you can't touch.
So the sulfate is polyatomic, so it's all one packet.
Exactly.
Okay.
What? Oh my God. All right. So, the 2 is going all the way across the parentheses down here.
You guys ever feel like you're not real?
The 3 is going all the way across the parentheses to over here. So, whatever's in those parentheses, you can't touch. You're just leaving it alone. The 3 is going all the way across. The 2 is going all the way across. All right, so when we rewrite it, Fe has what subscript? And then parentheses, SO4, close the parentheses and 3.
Ah.
Now,
That looks like where you at. Like,
you got it?
Yeah.
That's not hard, is it?
No.
No. Now, the only time we could leave the parentheses off is when this number over here is a what?
1.
Exactly. If that was a 1, you could technically leave them off. Now, a lot of people don't, and it's fine if you choose not to,
I'm not.
but you could. Now, for homework, you got your sheet in front of you?
Yes.
I want you to do the bottom part, so I want you to do 9 through 19. Flip it over.
Oh, there's a back.
There's the back. All right, and I want you to do 1 through 9 on the back. Do not do 10 through 20 because we've not talked about how to name with polyatomic ions. And I do not want you to have to erase or, God forbid, white out the whole paper like Danielle is.
I don't know.
I'm trying to do it all by the end of the
I don't
course.
need. I never do my homework.
Okay.
That makes sense.
if we,
So do not-
we're saying that we do 10 to
Come on,
20.
Miss Hathaway. If we up now,
Yeah, what we do 10 to 20, we get it all right. Could we
then
get
I will be
extra
so
credit?
impressed.
Could we get an extra credit?
No, you cannot get an extra. Do not do those. We'll learn about those tomorrow before we do the cut and paste.
Gosh.
Now, if you want to do test corrections, because there might be somebody who does, I will be here this afternoon if you want to do that. And other than that, I don't think there's anything. If you want to do makeup work, that's fine. You can put that next
So you
time.
want me here tomorrow?
When? After school? It's Friday.
I mean, yeah, but I would
Wait,
say.
what?
It is a religious holiday.
I would say right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is Monday.
What's it really called?
Fridays. I don't cook, I don't stay after school. I used to stay after school on Fridays when I first started teaching, but I've come to my senses since. I stayed after school on Friday.
Miss Hall, I want to hear you sing.